WD Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you're representing. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube, after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. I'll let a few hundred of y'all come in, then I'm going in. But in the meantime, in the between time, I'm going to give some shots out to the early birds, starting with Safa Ali. What's up, Safa? Fresno, California, in house. Chris, what's up, Washington, D.C.? I see Malcolm coming in from Seattle, Washington. Antonio Rice, Arkansas. What's up, Arkansas? I got to make a trip to Arkansas real soon. Or maybe I just send some bill collectors. Somebody owe me some money in Arkansas. I got to get that money, man. Yeah. New Jersey in the house. What's up, stateside? Doc Stones, what it do? Porsche 911. New Orleans, Ninth Ward. The folks, Oakland, California. Topeka, Kansas. What's up, Doc? KJ Holloway. KJ Holloway. Detroit, Michigan. Lafayette, Louisiana. What's up, Cajun? Cajun State. Todd with the facts. IAM, Ohio. Zanesville. What it do? What it do? Amber Cummings. What's up, Amber? Antioch, California. San Francisco, East Bay area. Shout out to Too Short, the homie who's grieving the loss of his brother. We thinking about you out here, homie. We got you in our prayers. What's up, B? Azim Shabazz. Salute Philadelphia. Gabby G. What's up? Arco. Rand 64, Central Texas. Walk on wood. Walk on wood. Detroit checking in. LA, woo-wee, boy, I ain't finna mess that name up. Shema. Well, how about that? Shema. Yisrael. Okay, fam, I'm going in. Going in. Let me put a pickup of my subject here. This is a topic, fam, that should interest all of us. Whether you fly or not, you should be extremely interested in what's going on with this case. Let's put up a pic of my subject. You see this guy right here, fam? This is a guy who is tasked, he's been tasked by way of the popular vote and the non-popular vote. Or should I say unpopular vote. Of becoming the president and running the president, being the chief, what do you call it? The commander-in-chief, there you go. The commander-in-chief of the United States of America. That's him right there. This guy right here, he won the electoral votes and he got the popular vote, according to reports. According to reports. According to reports, since he's been in office, there have been several plane crashes. He's been in office less than 2 months. And there's already been several plane crashes. In fact, we hadn't had a deadly plane crash, a deadly US plane crash from a commercial jet since 2009. Trump gets in office, and now we got several. Is it a coincidence? Is it his fault? Can you blame him? Well, let me give you a few facts first, and maybe you can make up your own mind. I don't want to prejudice you. Maybe you make up your own mind. So, let me tell you what Trump did when he got in office from day one. He fired the FAA director. He fired the FAA director. He put a freeze on air traffic controller hiring. So on January 20th, 2025, his first day in office, he fired the FAA director. The FAA, which stands for the Federal Aviation Administration, is a U.S. federal government agency within the U.S. Department of Transportation that regulates civil aviation in the United States and surrounding international waters. How on earth did he fire the FAA director and didn't have a qualified replacement? I don't know how you get away with something like that in an advanced country. Are we really that advanced? So he did that day one, January 20th. On January 21st, on January 21st, he froze air traffic controller hiring. On January 22nd, the Aviation Safety Advisory Committee was disbanded. Okay, fam. So first, he fires the agency that's tasked with regulating the aviation industry. He fires the head guy. Next thing he does is he puts a freeze on air traffic controllers hiring. We don't need no more hires. Even if there's a bad person in there, we're gonna just deal with it. But we will not be having any new replacements. So then, one day later, on January 22nd, he disbanded the Aviation Safety Advisory Committee. The name speaks for itself. It's self-explanatory. This is the agency that is responsible for providing advice to the TSA administrator on aviation security matters. So he gives it a rest for 4 days. And then on January 28, 2025, just 24 hours before the DC crash, Republic Airways Flight 4514 was forced to abort its first landing at Reagan National Airport due to a helicopter near its flight path. On this day, he also sent out letters to buy out retirement demand for employees. So he sent out a demand, he sent out a demand letter for a buyout for existing employees. So he called it, we can buy you out or you can retire, but you got to get up out of here. If I didn't know better, I would think that somehow, some way, a foreign government infiltrated the United States and put a plant in the Oval Office to destroy the United States. That's what I would think. This sounds like a mole. This sounds like something somebody would do if they were trying to cause chaos and anarchy in the United States. So this brings us to January 29th. 67 people ends up dead after American Airlines jet crashes with a military helicopter. So we got an American Airlines jet that collides with a military helicopter, 67 people dead. 2 days later, January 31st, there are no survivors after an air ambulance carrying 6 crashed near a Philadelphia mall. That brings us to today. In Covington, Georgia, a tragic incident unfolded at the Covington Municipal Airport, where a small plane crashed, resulting in the death of 2 individuals. The aircraft took off, but soon after, communication with the plane was lost. Emergency services were dispatched to the scene, but unfortunately, both occupants of the plane were pronounced dead at the site of the crash. The cause of the loss of communication and the subsequent crash are under investigation, with authorities looking into various factors that may have contributed to the accident. The identities of the deceased have not been released to the public, respecting the privacy of the families involved during this difficult time. Now, you'll have people who will say, well, you know, planes have been crashing since forever. Since before we were born, planes were crashing. Not at this rate. Well, maybe in the very beginning when they was trying to figure it out. But it's a different thing going on right now. You know, we've made hella strides in air safety control. flying is the safest. It still remains, even with those crashes, it remains the safest way to travel. But just because it's still the safest way to travel, that don't mean we are supposed to be okay with these recent plane crashes. We shouldn't be dismissive of this and just say, well, planes crash all the time. It's still safer than driving. People have accidents every day and die, and you don't stop driving your car. That's an asinine response. It's deflective. And it's dismissive of what's really going on here, what the real problem is. I tell you this, fam, it must be nice to be able to take all the credit for anything that goes good and none of the credit when things go bad. That's got to be a hell of a feeling for Donald J. Trump. He gets all the credit when things go well, and none of the blame from his supporters when things go bad. They refuse to see any flaws in his character or his performance as president. I mean, they don't see any flaws. They have zero complaints. But let it be somebody else, especially somebody who ain't white. I heard some people saying, we just got to pray. Pray? So you really think that, let me let y'all see my face because I got to address this. You really think God gave us all of these resources, all of this intelligence, all of this skill, this technological advancement, so that we can just pray our problems away or work through them? Now, I get it if you're going to pray and work through them, because, prayer without work is dead. So I get it if you're going to pray and work, but just sitting back praying is never the answer for nothing. That ain't going to get it. You got to put some work in, man. You got people that be sitting back praying on getting some money, when God already gave them the skill to get up off their butt and go get a job, to put some work in. You got people that pray that their marriage, that their relationship work out, but they won't put the work in to make sure that it works out, right? And on a lighter note, you got fans across the country, across the world, who pray that their team is better the following year, but they won't put the work in to raise hell to the organization that they need to trade up, get rid of some people, and do whatever they got to do to improve. You got to put some work in, baby. Prayer without work is dead. Y'all know that? I ain't even no Bible thumper. I don't even really need knowing these. Man, I'll butcher a Bible verse. I don't know nothing about it like that. I know it when I hear it, but I ain't really good at reciting it. But I know the truth when I hear it, though. This, if Trump was anybody else, and I'll also say even some white dudes, because all white dudes ain't gonna get the same pass that Trump get. Trump got a spell on these people, man. Trump did something like this here. Or I did something like this. It's something going on. It's something going on, man. This dude. But he said it. He said it out his own mouth. Remember when he said he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and his supporters will still support him. Remember he said it. He said they still vote for him. He said it. At first, he's just talking. You're like, man, this dude crazy, man. You can't just shoot somebody. Man, the dude racked up 34 felonies and never spent a day in jail. Not only that, he was allowed to run for president. Because you can, let me make something clear to y'all. Anybody can run for president. Anybody can actually be elected to be president, but you cannot sit. Anybody can, but let me back up. They got rules for election, but anybody can run. You can run, but they got rules they got levels to actually being allowed to be elected. But you can run. You can run your ass off, but that don't mean they're going to let you sit. That don't mean they're going to let you hold office. This dude got racked up 34 felonies. So what did people think would happen when you let somebody get away with 34 felonies and they don't have to do any time in jail? They could run for president, win. What you thought they was going to do when they got back in office? When they got hold of all that power? Oh man, we doing it like this? We still got half the country behind us. Oh man, shit, let's go in here and get this money, man. Let's get the rest of this money. Because I was trying to get it. I was trying to be cool with it last time. I was like being slick with it last time. Now, I could just straight up and go in and do what I want to do. And they going to still be behind me. All I got to do is hit them with for the American people. And all I got to do is just keep saying, make America great again. And keep pointing the finger at everybody else. Just anything go wrong, just point the finger at somebody else. Anything go right, y'all point the finger at me. That's got to be a hell of a feeling to take all the credit when things go right and none of the blame when things go wrong and be the leader. That's got to be a hell of a feeling. Oh, we always got trolls in the house when let me see, did Trump name in the title? Is his name in it? No, his name is not in the title. But typically when his name is in the title, it's always trolls. But it's somehow, some way, some of them, some of these dudes that Trump supporters, they like it, boy. They really want to suck Trump up. And if they think somebody might be saying something about Trump, they just come out running with their tongue out, ready to lick all in it crap. Yeah, where Trump? Trump, where's my hero? Trump, he's the greatest American hero. Trump, where is he? He's saying something about Trump. Boy, I swear Trump got some groupies, and they're not females. They're males. I've never seen men clamor over men that way. I ain't never seen men like all over men like that. A man like that. Some of these dudes, they love Trump more than they love themselves. They love Trump more than they love their children, more than they love their wives, girlfriends, mamas, daddies, sisters, brothers. best friend from high school, elementary. They love him, like love him. You know, Trump said, look here, man. And they try to act hard, right? Remember when it was all against, you know, Trump be switching up. You know, remember at first Trump was anti-LGBT, then he was for LGBT, then they had the LGBTQ community for Trump. Now Trump is anti-LGBT again, and they're still hanging on. They still with him with LGBT, no LGBT. They still there. No matter what he do, how he switch, how he flip-flop, they're still right there. Isn't that interesting? Very interesting. But some of these dudes out here say, man, if it don't fly, let it fly. But some of y'all dudes out there, y'all, and you know who you are. Right now, I want to appeal to the dude, the Trump groupie. I'm talking about the groupie. If it ain't you, if you ain't one of them, don't worry about what I'm saying. But you, I'm talking to you, the one that fit the description. You. If Trump told you right now, if you was just you and Trump said, you ever sucked her before? You know you're gonna laugh it off because it's Trump, it's your hero. He can do no wrong. Well, you know, it would sure be nice if you gave me a little licky. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. They looking for cameras. That's crazy. Why would you? Why would I? That's. Are you serious? As a heart attack. And just how long do I have to do it? I thought you were against the gays. Come on, man. You know how, you know, guys that are online all the time, beefing all the time. You know, that's a feminine trait, right? Come on, man. You know, show a little sense. Act like you got a little sense. Come on, hurry up right quick before the reporters come in here. You know you'll do it. I know you'll do it. I know you'll do it. Coming all out the room like this. Yeah, so what's up, man? How was it, man? Your other buddies out there waiting on you outside. You know, that they couldn't come in the White House, so they're outside. He's coming out. Yeah. How was it, man? Oh, I see you got I see they fed you. I see they fed you while you was in there. Yeah. You know you'll do it. You know you'll do it. Ain't no way you can dislike a dude like that much. Man, I ain't like my daddy. I love my dad. I ain't like my daddy that much. I don't like no man that much. I don't even like a woman that much. But y'all, boy, y'all obsessed. You, I'm talking about you. You are obsessed. I know you'll do it. I know you'll do it. Liggy. County Hodge, what's up? Yeah. And so back to the trolls. The reason why we get rid of trolls on this channel. You don't get no action over here whatsoever. We don't entertain the foolishness whatsoever because trolls are hoes. See? So especially when you're taking up for certain kind of people, we already know what type of dudes you are. So you won't get no love over here whatsoever. So scurry on. Scurry on. This is very dangerous, fam. What's going on right now, with the FAA and all things aviation is very dangerous. They would go crazy if Trump was to disband police departments. If he were to say, okay, all police officers go home right now, resign. They lose their minds because they know that it's a security risk involved with that. Well, there's a security risk involved with disbanding an agency that is meant to regulate safety in the aviation industry. That's a problem. How are you going to do that without just grounding all the planes? Now, if you just want to say, okay, all planes grounded, okay, let's see how that work out. But you don't let those planes go out there and they not have the proper safeguards in place so that those planes don't start falling out of the sky. And that's what's happening. These planes are dropping like flies. The only problem is human beings on board. And people are dying. All of this to prove a point. Or for whatever, I don't know what's behind it. I don't know why, they talking about spending and all this. No, there's a way to cut back spending and continue to be of use, to have things in place or safeguards in place for an agency to continue to be able to do its job. There's a way to do that without disbanding the entire agency. That police departments overspend. You're not disbanding police departments. We know that the medical industry overspends. We're not disbanding the entire medical industry. You're not shutting down hospitals across the country, hospitals and clinics across the country. Well, let me not speak so soon because that could happen. Ooh-wee, man. If that was anybody but Trump, those Trump people and even the politicians would be up in arms. The politicians are cowards. They're scared of Trump. They won't even say anything. Democrats and Republicans. There's only a few Democrats who are really speaking out, who are really vocal, and maybe one or two Republicans. That's it. They're scared. They're cowards. Remember what I told y'all. Everything that has happened bad in this country has happened either on the Republicans' watch or the Democrats' watch. If it was on the Republicans' watch, the Democrats watched them do it. They let it happen. If it was on the Democrats' watch, the Republicans watched them do it. They let it happen. They are on the same team. You cannot convince me any different. I got it, fam. You know, on the surface, it looks like, it appears that this guy is against this entity or these people, but this guy is like, no, 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 no. When one guy does something that's counterproductive to another group, that harms another group, and the other guy says, I don't have anything to do with it, what happens a lot is both of them are actually benefiting from these changes. Like, you know, there's a lot of racist Democrats too, right? So they benefit from these changes. A lot of the stuff that Trump is doing, they benefit just like the Republicans benefit. Not just racists, but, you know, in terms of the FAA and, you know, the aviation part, all that stuff. When they go in these rooms, fam, and they come out with these deals, it's always gimme, 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 gimme. And here you gimme, gimme, gimme. Everybody like trying to make sure they get a little something out of it. And then they walk out, and then they got to put on a show, like kind of like a judge and a prosecutor does. Judge and prosecutor are on the same team. They get their checks from the state, the same place. They're on the same team. But out front, when they walk into the courtroom, they got to act like they're not necessarily adversaries, but they got to act like they're operating independent of one another. But they're really on the same team. And this is the way politics are. Now, some people don't like me saying that because the Republicans are the one taking away DEI. The Republicans are taking away this or that or that. But the Democrats let them do it. And they benefit. You think those racist Democrats ain't excited about these DEI programs disappearing? They are. You got the racist Democrats who are just as bad as the racist Republicans and the racist independents and moderates and libertarians and so on and so on and so on. You got corrupt. Republicans ain't the only ones corrupt. All the parties got a deep level of corruption. All of them. That's why when it comes to working out some type of deal, we gotta go with policy over party. That's why I'm independent. I'm independent. Who gonna give me the best deal, man? That's what I need to know. Who got the best deal for me? Because I'm not gonna sit on the sideline for 4 years or 8 years every time my guy does not get in. I'm gonna get mine no matter what. I ain't taking off 4 years or 8 years or 2 years. I'm getting mine every day, every year. Just like, you know how those corporations behave? Those corporations, same corporations that we spend money with, they get theirs every day, every year. It don't matter who's in office. Their stock continues to go up. They get paid every quarter, every year. They get their money. They do better every year, no matter who's in office. We got to kind of start moving like that, like business. This is personal, but this is business. Eddie McGuire, what's up? Pamela Gadsden, Terry Lofton. Is that Ebo Jackney? What's up, Avery? Hoodpecker. Quick brief. I say quick brief. Same thing. Okay. Brief, fam. There have been 5 deadly plane crashes in the U.S. Count them, fam. 5. Might be 6 now. Just in 2025. Think about this. I want you to think about this. Just in 2025, there's been 5 plane crashes. Before 2025, the most recent deadly plane crash involving a U.S. airliner was in 2009, 16 years ago. Think about that. No deadly plane crashes by a U.S. airliner since 2009. Trump gets in, fire everybody, sent demand letters, all in the so-called name of saving money, and people start dying. Planes start falling out the sky, and people start dying. Y'all think that's a coincidence? This really should signal war. Right now, like the American people should be up in arms. Like, no, we got to shut this down. We got to stop this. But everybody just taking it on the chin, just sitting back, just watching the show, watching it happen. If I were you, fam, and I had recent trips, if I had to take a plane, like soon, I'm I would probably cancel my trip or figure out another way to get there. There have been 5 deadly plane crashes in the U.S. in 2025. Before 2025, the most recent deadly plane crash involving a U.S. airliner was in 2009, 16 years ago. That's Obama's first year in office. The hypocrisy is staggering. The silence is loud. Where is the J6? That's what I want to know. Where is J6? J6 should be like on it right now. This is what they should be storming the Capitol for if they want to storm the Capitol. This seems like something you should storm the Capitol about. Why is J6 chilling? They waiting on J7 to do it? Why is MAGA so silent? What MAGA is doing is deflecting. They're trying to point the finger at other people and they're trying to get on a different topic. It's kind of like what happened during COVID when people were dying. Because Trump made a few bad executive choices. He was late to respond, and people died. And everybody just kind of act like it never happened. Even the Democrats. They didn't make too much of a fuss about it. See, that should be a movement right now. Like right now, it should be a major movement to stop this madness. But everybody's kind of like going along with the program. Not just politicians, not just citizens, but the media. Trump got the media by the balls. They scared to death. When he have his press conferences, they're scared to death to ask the hard questions. When they challenge him, they tiptoe. They're very, very super duper nice. Didn't realize it had sound. My bad, my bad. So let me break this down to you, fam, once again, in case you missed it. Let me break it down for you. Let me break it down. So on January 1st, on January 20th, Trump's first day in office, he fired the FAA director. This set off a chain of events that culminated into all of these planes crashing. He fired the FAA director on January 20th. One day later, January 21st, air traffic controller hiring was frozen. The next day, January 22nd, Aviation Safety Advisory Committee is disbanded. Four days later, on January 28th, he sends out a buyout retirement demand to existing employees. It's like he want to get rid of everybody that's responsible for safety. He want to get rid of everybody that's responsible for the planes landing safely. It's like he is trying to create chaos. It's like he wants those planes to collide. The reason why those organizations are in place, those entities, those agencies are in place, is to regulate the industry, make sure people are following safety protocol. Imagine what it's like for the people that are working in those positions right now. Some people have been working in those positions for 20 and 30 years. Some people just got their job and they just bought a house and a car, whatever, and you know, they got their family, they thinking this is my career, and now they don't know what to do. They don't know if they got a job tomorrow or not. Everybody's on the edge. Everybody's scared to death. He's telling people, we're going to buy you out or you can retire. But we need you to get up out of here. So you get rid of the oversight. You get rid of the people, all of the head guys, the people that are in charge. You get rid of the oversight. Now you can come in and you do what you want to do. You've completely gut this. You completely gut the safety regulation industry. And you think this is a coincidence that these planes are crashing? Just 24 hours before the DC crash, Republic Airways Flight 4514 was forced to abort its first landing at Reagan National Airport due to a helicopter near its flight path. The helicopters are out of pocket. The planes are out of pocket because they don't have competent people or they don't have anybody guiding them. They're out there flying in the sky, hoping that they don't get hit by another aircraft. Donald Trump is absolutely responsible for all of these bodies. If not for his actions, I do believe that these people are alive. Imagine, family, if you will, sending your children to school. And let's say your children got a short walk home. Maybe it's 2-3 blocks, or just maybe they have to cross the street to go to where the buses pick the kids up at, or where the parents pick them up at, but they have to cross the street. Maybe it's just right across the street from the school. Imagine having a guard, a crossing guard. Now, do you think those schools, schools have tight budgets. Do you think those schools have those crossing guards because they're trying to flex? You think they have the crossing guard because they just, like splurging? You think they got the crossing guard for looks? No. They got the crossing guard because they don't want the kids to get hit by a car or a truck or a bus. That's why the crossing guard is there. Now imagine somebody with some bright ideas saying, we got to cut back on the school budget. Let's get rid of the crossing guard. Now the kids still got to cross the street. But now you're getting rid of the person who is responsible for making sure that they cross that street safely. That crossing guard is essentially a ground traffic controller. So imagine if schools all across America just said, you know what, we're getting rid of crossing guards because these schools are spending too much money. The public schools are spending too much money on crossing guards. We got to get rid of these crossing guards. And they got rid of the crossing guards. The students still have to cross the street. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think would happen if schools across America just got rid of their crossing guards? The murder rate would skyrocket. Accidents would skyrocket. You'd have multiple kids every single day in ICU and in morgues. That's what would happen. That is what is happening right now in the aviation world. And that is what is going to continue to happen until this thing gets fixed. And I mean right away. All money ain't good money. You don't cut off your nose to spite your face. You do not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's say I believe Trump is trying to do the right thing by saving the country some money, trying to save us some money. Let's say I believe he's trying to do the right thing. Okay, he's trying to do the right thing, but he's going about it the wrong way. So let's just say, I'll give him the benefit of doubt that he's trying to do the right thing. But he's going about it the wrong way. And if he's going about it the wrong way, we cannot turn a blind eye to his actions. And he got to be held accountable. Let's go back to the praying, fam. Some people said we need to pray. Don't worry about what's going on in the air. What's going to happen. And flying is still the safest way for transportation. It's still the safest way to get from where you want to go, get to where you want to go. Flying is still the safest way. It's safer than driving. I say, why not walk and chew bubble gum? I think that human beings have been designed to multitask. It is quite possible for us, if we must, pray and take the proper precautions and steps to ensure public safety. It's possible to do both, because prayer without work is dead. Imagine getting in your car and you know you're low on gas. Let's say you're low on gas. You got a half a tank of gas. You trying to drive from Houston to Dallas. That's a 3.5-hour drive. And you saying to yourself, come on, Lord, let me get there. Help me get there, Lord. I know I'm low. I ain't got no more money. I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but Lord, just help me get there. You ain't gonna make it. You're not going to make it because you can't get to Houston from Dallas with a half a tank of gas unless you're driving an 18-wheeler. Oh, man. It's 239 miles from Houston to Dallas. From Houston, Texas to Dallas, Texas is 239 miles. If you're driving an automobile in the United States of America, unless you got one of them special futuristic cars, you ain't gonna make it with a half a tank of gas. And you're also not gonna make it with a half charged battery. So you can pray all you want, but you're gonna end up stranded on the side of the road. You're gonna have to stop and get some gas, and you're gonna have to stop at some point and charge that car to make it the rest of the way. I guess some roads are for some certain types of people, bro. I'm not good with having innocent people on my record, innocent dead people on my record. I'm not good with that. If it's war, it's war. That's different. But just knowing that I did something to cause the death of innocent people, I'm not doing that. I don't want that on my record. So in order to commit certain acts, you have to not have a conscience. Yeah, if I were you, fam, if you got any trips planned, any upcoming trips planned where you have to take an airplane, I would seriously consider not flying right now. And this ain't got nothing to do with fear mongering. This is just taking precautions, man. This is like, to me, this is using common sense. We had 0 planes go down in the last 16 years. 0 in the last 16 years. 0 U.S. planes go down in the last 16 years. Trump gets in office and 5 go down. They don't go down all on their own, though. There's a chain of events that happen at the behest of Trump. He fires the director of the FAA on his first day. The very next day, Air traffic controller hiring is frozen. The next day after that, Aviation Safety Advisory Committee is disbanded. 4 days later, he sends a buyout retirement demand to the existing employees. Do you see the pattern here, fam? Do you see what's happening? And then the planes start dropping out of the sky. But first, there was a warning. He got a warning on the same day he sent that buyout retirement demand to the existing employees. The same day, just 24 hours before the DC crash, Republic Airways Flight 4514 was forced to abort its first landing at Reagan National Airport due to a helicopter near its flight path. 1 day later, 69 people fall out the sky on an American Airlines jet that crashed with a military helicopter. Two days later, January 31st, no survivors after an ambulance carrying 6 crashed near a Philadelphia mall. And now we got 2 more people fall out of the sky in Atlanta. You got to be short bus window licking slow to think that this is not connected to your president's actions. Everybody should be up in arms. And if you're watching any of those major media outlets, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, CBS, NBC, if you're watching any of those news programs and they're not going in hard, not just, well, you know, we had another crash and blah, blah, blah. Not that. I'm talking about going in hard, asking, demanding for accountability. Demanding. I'm talking about if they don't have those pundits on their shows going in hard, I'm talking about mercilessly. If they ain't got that going on, you already knew whose side they were on, but now you definitely better know what time it is with them. Yeah, ain't no way I'm walking through an airport right now, fam. They're going to have to get that straight. I ain't going nowhere. I get in a car. I'll take a bus. I'll take a train. I'll walk before I get on a plane right now. They're going to have to figure that out. Miss Jazzy is in the building. What's up, Miss Jazzy? See, it really doesn't matter what the ethnicity is or what a person's physical limits are or whatever. None of that matters in a situation like this, because when you remove safeguards, nobody's protected. It don't matter what type of education a person has or experience they have. Once you remove those safeguards, you're actually moving people out of the way. There's no oversight. There's no checks and balances. And this is why they have checks and balances, so that these type of things don't occur. And the US had been doing a good job, a very good job, at keeping Americans safe in the friendly skies. But now it's a war going on up there. Planes are literally falling out of the sky. Yeah, I guess some certain things are for certain people. Certain people can do that. But yeah, I couldn't do something like that. And I ain't got no mind knocking a joker head off if he deserve it. If he got to get it, I ain't got no mind. I don't have a problem doing that. But it's got to be somebody who's really a threat to me, who I feel like is a threat, a real threat. I'm not okay with making decisions that impact people's lives, that's responsible for killing people, for people dying, innocent people dying. I don't want that on my record. But these guys, they ain't got no problem sleeping after doing something like that. It's like the guy who is the executioner at the prison, or the governor who refuses to grant a reprieve to a condemned inmate. And who he knows is innocent. Or at least, at the very least, there is a huge shadow of doubt that they're guilty. I couldn't have that on my record. I wouldn't put people to death just so I can keep my job. All money ain't good money, and I ain't never liked money that much. I could not be tasked with killing an inmate who I know, or at least I suspect, is innocent. I couldn't do that. That just could not be my job. And see, a lot of us, we do a lot of dirty things because, after all, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing, it's wrong. But because it's your job, you justify it. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do human beings like that. I wouldn't do nobody like that. I couldn't do that. Now, somebody wrong, if I know he did it, we got proof, he confessed, and he did it. We know he did it. Oh, we got some video. Oh, man, give me that. I hit him up. throw a grenade at them, give me the, I'll do it in the name of public safety. I'll do it. Got no problem getting rid of that one. But just arbitrarily, just killing people, you know what I'm saying? Because the state say he was guilty when we know, nah, there's a shadow of doubt. Nah, I'm not with that. I'm not with that. But some people, man, they know people be innocent. They'll send them to death row. Some of these prosecutors, they don't care if you're innocent. All they know is they got you in front of them and they can prove the case. If they think they can win, that's all they care about. They just want to win. And so they will put you in jail. They will put you behind, but they'll destroy your life. They don't care that you got a newborn at home, that you just started a new job, you just bought a new house, you just got married. All they know is they got you in their crosshairs. And if they can prove that, if they think that they can prove that you're guilty of something, even when they know, let me put it like this, if they think they can convince a jury that you're guilty, a lot of them will prosecute you. They will send you to prison. They will give you the death penalty if they can. The judge will give you 200 years if he can. A lot of these judges are uncivilized. You wonder when people get a slap on the wrist for violating children, why would a judge give this guy a slap on the wrist? Why would he give this guy deferred adjudication or a diversion program for 6 months? Why would he do that? Because the judge is sympathetic, because the judge can relate, because the judge probably has done such a thing himself or is involved in those type of activities. That's how that goes. So anytime I see judges giving people a break for stuff like that, I look closely at the judge and I'm like, that judge needs to be investigated. Everybody knows that our children and our elderly are the most vulnerable in society, and they are the ones that we should be going out of our way to protect, but we don't do that enough. A lot of our children and our elderly are on their own. Hell, we don't even take care of our own parents. People who gave us life. The moment something happened to them, they're incapacitated or anything go wrong, we pushing them off on somebody else, sending them to a convalescent home or something. Because we ain't got time, because we got to go live, we got to go party, we got to live our life. Can't be taking care of mama. Ain't gonna be taking care of you, daddy. Man, I got to go live. I got to go to the party tonight. You got to hit up the game. We can't make no adjustments. We won't make no sacrifices. I'd have never done my parents like that. In fact, my daddy stayed with me before he died. I took my daddy in when he was sick. I don't get down like that. My mama got sick. She went straight from her house to the hospital and never came out. So she got progressively worse when she was in the hospital, when she got to the hospital. But Yeah. Never, never. I wouldn't want something like that on my conscience, sending my family, the people who brought me into the world, and putting them in one of these so-called uh, places where they're supposed to be caring for them, knowing what I know about these places, knowing that they have uncivilized mutts that work at these places that be abusing patients, knowing that they don't even clean them. A lot of times they won't even clean them unless they know they're getting a visit. That's why them places be stinking so much a lot of times. They just be smelling like piss. I couldn't have something like that on my conscience, putting my mom or dad in a place like that. That's an American society, though. You go over to Asia and in Africa, you see, shit, you might see 3, 4 generations in one house. These people take care of their mamas and daddies. They got honor. America, everybody trying to do their own thing. Everybody want to do their own thing. Anybody got time? Can't be making no sacrifices. God forbid you make a sacrifice. Hell no. Look, go visit one person a year. I'm gonna make this one visit. That's it. I ain't got time for all this other stuff. Ain't got time. That's true, Nina. We didn't used to be that way. But I grew up, I watched my grandmother take care of her mother in her house. And then her dad, who we called Big Daddy, he had his own house. And, Big Daddy had paper. He was papered up. So Big Daddy actually lived right, not too far from where I live right now, but Big Daddy was papered. So Big Daddy had his own house, and he would have people come to his house and take care of him. See, that was player. But that's how he did it. But yeah, he was well taken care of. I don't see how people can do that to their mamas and daddies. I don't see how people can just put their mama and dad in a home. I guess if they were particularly evil to you, that's different. I guess if they were just evil. But if they were just mom and dad and made the regular mistakes that parents make, whatever, man, that ain't be water under the bridge, man, and soldier up. People, mama or daddy make a mistake, do them wrong one time, and they in their 60s still can't let it go. Granted, some things are unforgivable, but a lot of this stuff, man, I be hearing about people holding grudges over is really petty. It wasn't petty at the time they did it, but when you think about the totality of the situation, you be like, man, okay, it's petty because you should have aged out of the hurt by now. You know what I'm saying? You should have aged out of the vengeance. You dig what I'm saying? I don't know. Family, tomorrow, you do not want to miss who I have on the show. So tomorrow, fam, y'all remember the guy? Shane Jenkins. Remember Shane Jenkins from the guy from the January 6th riot who had the tomahawk axe, who was busting through the window? Got him on the show tomorrow. And boy, we went there, fam. So you want to make sure that you watch that show. That's on the Willie D Live YouTube channel. That's the Willie D Live Conversations channel on YouTube. There's a link in the description. You can click that link right now and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you select notifications, all notifications, so you can get your notification when it comes on. But it airs tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 9 a.m. Central, and 10 a.m. Eastern. That's my interview with J6 rioter Shane Jenkins. Oh yeah, we went there. I asked him some very personal questions about the riot, how it went down, what Trump had them doing. We even talked about what's coming up, what they got planned next. And we went deeper and got into his trauma from childhood. And he revealed a lot of things that he had never talked about ever to anybody, not just publicly, but privately. He talked about things he never talked about. And it's in that interview tomorrow. So make sure that you click on that link and check that interview out. So I saw somebody say they don't care about nothing but MAGA got to say. Typically, I don't either, because they all kind of sound alike. So I already know what they're going to say. But it's interesting when you sit down with somebody and hear the individual talk, right? Typically it's a different story, right? And it was a different story. I don't believe that people who have opposing viewpoints, especially political viewpoints, can't sit down and have a conversation to try to get an understanding. Now, if I think we can't get an understanding, if I think we just sitting down to be sitting down, we just doing this for a photo opportunity, then I'm not with that. But if I think I can sit down with a person and get an understanding, I would be all for that. Especially if I can sit down with them and they can provide some information and instructions to help you guys navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world, because that's really what it's about. Some people are closed-minded, so they're limited to their views, they're limited to their background, they're limited to their own understanding. When you are open to having discussions, do you understand that wars have been prevented because people with opposing views decided to have a sit down? You know, we got the most powerful guys in the world. They sit down and they have conversations. President of the United States sit down and talk to the president of Russia, or talk to the president of India, or the president of China, sits down and talks to the president of Uganda, or Ghana or wherever, right? These people sit down when they have conflict because they know conflict is costly. A lot of times when there's conflict, it's because somebody reacted based on emotions. Somebody made an emotional decision, and now you have conflict. And so the idea is to try to get an understanding. Now, if you can't get an understanding, hey, man, whatever, it's whatever. But I don't mind trying to get an understanding, but sometimes you can't get an understanding. That's what you got to understand. Sometimes you just can't get an understanding. But it don't hurt to try to get an understanding. Because as I said, conflict is costly. Even when you win, you might lose. Now, that's going to go over some people's heads because they don't think that deep. Lawrence Brazier, what's up? Sagittarius Goddess, what's up? Angela Dadnack. So if the president of China can sit down and have a discussion with the president of Russia when they've exchanged verbal blows, insults, and these guys got real armies, not no clique, not no crew, not 3 dudes or 5 or 10 or 20 or 50 or 100. They got millions. They got atomic bombs, nukes. They have an entire military at their disposal. And they could wipe a country off the map. If they can sit down and have a discussion to try to come to an understanding to preserve life, why can't the dudes in the streets do that? They ain't got an ounce of the power that those dudes have, but they sit down and have a conversation. You know how big you got to be to have that conversation, for these dudes to have a conversation? Whatever ego the street dude think he have, imagine how big the ego is of a guy who runs an entire nation, who has an entire military at his disposal. Imagine how big his ego is. So if they can do that, why can't dudes in the streets who have a misunderstanding say, you know what? Let's have a conversation about it. Look, man, woo-woo. You know what I mean? Yeah. At some point, you got to listen to learn and learn to listen. At some point, you got to kind of look at the people who do it on a level greater than you do it, the ones who survive, who get the pretty much, if you want to be a gangster, you got to look at the gangster that do it, who don't never go to jail. That's the kind of gangster. If I'm going to be a gangster, that's the kind of gangster I would want to be. I'd want to be a gangster who don't go to jail. I want to be a gangster who get to live my days all the way out. No punishment. I want to be the gangster that never gets separated from my family. Never have to look at my child through prison bars or glass. I'd want to be that type of gangster. The gangster who have the big house and the boats and everything that they can't take away. I don't want to be the gangster who have it, who get to live it for a year or 5 years or 10 years. And then when they come in, they take everything. They selling my stuff all at auctions and stuff, and people laugh and joke. Yeah, man, that Willie D truck right there, man. Yeah, they busted him, man. I got this at the seizure. You know what I'm saying? I got this at the U.S. Marshal seizure. I don't want to be that dude. I acquired it. It's my stuff. Don't touch it. When I get ready to get rid of it, I'll make the choice who gets it, not the U.S. Marshals. I don't want to be that gangster. I don't ever want to be that gangster. I want to be the gangster who ain't got to throw no punch, who ain't got to squeeze no trigger. And y'all know what comes with after that. Read between the lines. All these dudes running around here, they getting all hype. They got all this energy. They got all these muscles. They talking about fighting and shooting and boo woo woo. They bullied the nerd in high school. They finally get popped, they get knocked, they end up getting out of jail. Now they gotta go get a job because that's part of their probation conditions. And guess who they gotta go beg for a job from? The nerdy dude, the Mark Zuckerberg types, the Trump types. Oh, y'all don't think Trump was a nerd? Trump was a nerd, man. He was a nerd. You know, he ain't had a fight a day in his life. But anyway, fam, the nerd dude is now the dude with all the power. You see how Elon Musk be flexing? You look at Elon Musk, you know he wasn't getting no action when he was younger. The only way he did get some action is just like Trump. Spend that money. Got to do some little tricking. It had to. They ain't had no choice. But look at who running it. Look at all of these politicians across the country. Most of these politicians look like little nerd dudes. But they calling all the shots. Go sit down, try to get a job anywhere. Try to get a job anywhere. Your big old bad, done 50 years in prison, tattooed up ass, gonna be sitting there praying that this little bitty nerdy dude right here sees some good in you. So to give you an opportunity to redeem yourself. The little nerdy dude gonna call a shot. He gonna be responsible for whether you eat or not. You can put food on your family table or not. You can provide for your children, put a roof over their head. So that big bad bully stuff don't work in corporate America. If you ain't got the pen, if you ain't in management, if you ain't running the show, you just another employee. And you gonna mind or you going to jail. All the women trying to get with the nerdy dudes now. Because what? The nerdy dude got good credit. He got money. He done built up a nice little war chest for generational wealth. The cool dude ain't so cool no more. His ass is broke. So the cool dude who the women went after in high school and maybe in their 20s, they might be cool for a rendezvous, when she go to New Orleans or go to Jamaica. Sorry, ladies, got to put this out there. Wherever, look, whoop, 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 get down, come back, don't tell nobody. Whoop, whoop, don't call me no more. Nigga, get off the phone. Why the hell you calling my phone? Nigga, I told you I got a husband. He might be cool for all of that, but not life, not lifestyle, not raising these kids. You need somebody who's gonna be there, not somebody who got the police knocking at the door all the time. That's gonna be played out. Then you're gonna come home and you're gonna be trying to call yourself the man of the house. You're gonna be living in her house, and you're gonna be the man of the house for a good maybe 28, 29, 30 days. Then you're going to be that nigga just hanging around the house, eating up all the food, sucking up the air, and still trying to boss somebody around while she at work. Then she's going to come one day in the middle of the night. You're going to be trying to tell her something. She's going to tell you something. She's going to be tired of it because she's going to be hearing about what a girl did and where a girl and a man took her and what he bought her, what they did. And she's going to be like, well, I don't never get all that kind of. She's going to start feeling some type of way because it really ain't in a woman's nature to be taking care of a man in the first place. She's going to start feeling some type of way until she's going to tell you about yourself. And now you're going to try to hold it down because after all, she's been treating you like the man of the house. She really ain't stepped on your ego at all yet. But she's been thinking about it. So now she say something. Then you say something back, try to put your foot down. You remember though, you're putting your foot down in her house. So now she hits you with the proverbial, you know what? Just give me my key. Oh, boy, let me tell you something. If you ain't never heard, give me my key back. Wait, if you living with a woman, just wait. Keep waking up. You're going to hear it one day. Give me my key. Boy, when you hear that, man, it's going to shock your ego. You're going to be like, Lord. It's going to hit you like Fred from Sanford and Son. This is the big one. You're going to hit you like the big one. You ain't going to be able to do nothing about it. Try to be tough if you want to. She's going to call the police. Because she know. That's all she got to do, call the police. She's going to call the police on you. You're going to get up out of that house one way or the other. Turn violent. Now you're going to throw your whole life away. You definitely ain't going to have no get back if you turn violent. Yeah, man. Women, let me explain something to you youngsters. All y'all youngsters, come on in. I'm finna give you some game. Some game. Women don't mind working, but it has to be a choice. They want it to be a choice. A woman wants to know if she decides she don't want to do it anymore, she's tired, that her man can step up and meet the requirements of her lifestyle without skipping a beat. And if you cannot do that, she is not going to fully respect you. And one could argue that if she doesn't fully respect you, she doesn't respect you at all. Now, that is a hit and a half for your ass. Now, most of you guys are not going to be able to accept that. You can't take it because you think it's you, and you think you're really doing something because you're putting it on her right. You can put it on her right. But let me explain something to you. Most women, not all, but most women will forego you putting it on her right for you handling your business and providing a stable lifestyle for her. know you ain't come here for all of that. But ain't no telling what you're going to get when you come over here, man. One thing you're going to get, though, is information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. Family, I ain't going to steer you wrong. This is 58 years of game. Hold on, I'm 58, but I guess I didn't have game the whole time. I guess, let me see, 58, I'm 58, so my game kicked in at around 5, 6. So, this is at least 52 years of game. I'm telling you, man. Tony Foster, what up? Can you handle what? Look, man. Yeah, we talk about a lot of things. Yeah, we was talking about the plane crash, and we started moving to other discussions just because you see plane crash in the title. I should warn you that as the conversation evolves, we'll talk about other things and we'll circle the wagon before we end it. That's how I do it over here. Appreciate that, Miss Jazzy. Love you back. So let's see. So let's recap. So let me put Trump up here right quick. Well, no, y'all seen enough of him. So let's see. So I'm giving you a timeline of the deadly U.S. plane crashes in 2025. Okay. So first, it's worth noting that there have been 4 deadly plane crashes in the United States in 2025. Before 2025, the most recent deadly plane crash involving a U.S. airliner was in 2009. Did you hear me? 2009. So we've been crash free for 16 years. Trump comes in office for his second term, starts shaking up the FAA, shaking up the entire aviation industry. And next thing you know, almost 100 people are dead. And planes are falling out of the sky left and right. They're colliding with vehicles, motor vehicles on the ground, crashing into homes. According to the National Transportation Safety Board, preliminary reports are expected within 30 days from the date of each accident. Here's the timeline. On January 29th, hold on, let me back up because I need to set this up first. Got to set it up first. Day one, when Trump got in office, the FAA director was fired. He fired the director, the FAA director. That's the start of it, fam. Here's the domino effect. He fired the FAA director on the first day in office, January 20th. One day later, Air traffic controller hiring was frozen. 1 day later, Aviation Safety Advisory Committee disbanded. 4 days later, he sent a buyout retirement demand to existing employees. And then here we go. On January 29th, 67 people were killed after an American airline jet collided with a military helicopter. 2 days after that, there were no survivors after an air ambulance carrying 6 people crashed near Philadelphia Mall. Y'all think that's a coincidence? Let me say it again. We had no American airline fatalities since 2009. Trump gets in office. His first day, he fires the FAA director. The next day, his second day, air traffic controller hiring is frozen. The next day, his third day in office, Aviation Safety Advisory Committee disbanded. Then he sends a buyout retirement demand letter to existing employees. So within 9 days of him being in office, the first plane crashes. 2 days later, another plane crashes. Then another plane crashes. Then another plane crashes. And now we have another plane crashing, and we have more fatalities. Today, we got a plane that crashed in New Orleans, in Atlanta. Actually in Covington, Georgia. So this traffic incident unfolded at the Covington Municipal Airport, where a small plane crashed, resulting in the death of 2 individuals. The aircraft took off, but soon after, communication with the plane was lost. Communication with the plane was lost. Remember, he's firing air traffic controllers. Communication with the plane was lost. Emergency services were dispatched to the scene, but unfortunately, both occupants of the plane were pronounced dead at the site of the crash. The cause of loss of communication and the subsequent crash are under investigation, with authorities looking into various factors that might have contributed to the accident. The identities of the deceased have not been released to the public, respecting the privacy of the families involved during this difficult time. So we had January 29th, you got a Bombardier CRJ-700 operating as American Airlines Flight 5342 collided with a Black Hawk helicopter above the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. All 64 passengers aboard the plane and 3 that were aboard the helicopter were killed. January 31st, a medical jet crashed in Philadelphia that killed 7 people. The Learjet generated a massive fireball when it smashed into the ground in a neighborhood not long after taking off from a small airport nearby. February 6th, a Cessna 208B Grand Caravan operating as Boeing Air Flight 445 from Nome, to Alaska. Let me back up. Nome is in Alaska. Nome is city in Alaska. But from how do you say that? Unalakleet, that's the name of it. From Unalakleet to Nome, Alaska, went missing 10 minutes before its scheduled arrival at Nome. The wreckage of the aircraft was found 34 miles from Nome in the Bering Sea, and all 10 people aboard the aircraft died. Let this had been Biden in office and did something like this, Trump would be calling for another January 6th, a storming of the Capitol. No way possible Republicans would be sitting back, laid back, watching this happen. They'd be calling for the life of Biden or anybody else. No way possible they would be cool with this. No way possible would MAGA, Trump supporters, be cool with this. They'd be up in arms. But because is Trump their Messiah, he gets a pass. And you know, all they got to do is put a spin on it and point the finger at somebody else, because they're really good at that. All the while talking about how others need to take accountability. It's amazing how they do that. I tell you what, fam. Boy, I would not want to be flying right now. In fact, I know I'm not going to be flying right. I'm not going anywhere. If I can't get there by car, train, bus, or Tom and Jerry, I'm not going. I'm not hopping on no planes till they figure this out. Trump dismantles efforts to find a cure for cancer. Ooh. Trump dismantles efforts to find a cure for cancer and other deadly disorders and diseases. Well, fam, there you have it. Donald Trump, your president. There it is. He's giving you exactly what you voted for. And he hasn't even been in office for a month. He hasn't even been in office for a month. And already the visible consequences of his actions are being seen. Where lives have been taken, Haven't been in jail for a whole month. He still got 3 years and 11 months to go. Good Lord. Ooh-wee, man. That's my time, fam. I appreciate y'all. A few more shout outs before I go. Miss Jazzy, appreciate you moderating. Deborah Free, Sedson, the Michelle, Tina Speaks TV, Tina Michelle. What's up, Tina Michelle? Kevin Reeves, BNB, Judge Dredge. What's up, Judge Dredge? I ain't seen you in a minute. Canary Valance, Anthony Moore, Snowflake's Nightmare. Snowflake's Nightmare. Salty Dog. Dave Mack. Dave Dynasty. Bleezy Bless says, blame Trump for everything. Save the kids. I'm assuming that you're trying to be sarcastic, but I'll tell you this. If you're going to give him credit for everything, you should blame him for everything. At least that's how it works in the real world. That's my time, fam. I appreciate y'all joining the live. Unless there's breaking news, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Make sure you subscribe to my other YouTube channel, Willie D Live Conversations. There's a link in the description. I got a big interview coming up at 7 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Set your clocks. It's going to be a good one. I'm going head up with a January 6th rider. You ain't want to miss this one at all, fam. That's my time. No more talk.